get into solving some equations. Okay, we're still going to use our properties. So if you see minus, that tells you, oh, that means I need to divide my arguments. Okay, again, you don't have two logs, you just have this one log out here. Now you don't see a base, but because there is no number here, we know automatically that it's a 10. And if I need to solve for x, I've now got to turn it exponential. So I loop it, and I do 10 squared equals this whole argument. All right, 10 squared we know is 100. And now I got to start solving for x. This one's a little bit harder to solve for x, but we got to get rid of the fraction. So you can either cross multiply, put that over 1, and then just say, okay, I've got x plus 1 times 1 equals 100 times x minus 1. If I just cross multiply. And so I have 100x minus 100 on this side equals x plus 1 on this side. And so then we just combine our x's. So I have 99x, add the 100, equals 101. And now divide, and we have x equals 101 divided by 99. Okay, let's do another one. This one's similar, different base. Okay, and we got a plus sign. So plus means we're going to have to go ahead and multiply our arguments together. Okay, if we multiply, make sure we are foiling. So I'm going to just do x squared plus x minus 1 equals 0. Combine my like terms. And now we're at this point where we have to turn it exponential. So that's kind of your key to solve these, to solve logs. Always turn it exponential. Okay, not always, but a lot of times. And you'll find out when we solve exponentials, you're going to turn it to logs. So they're inverses, they work well with each other. So I need to see, okay, no base here, but I know since it's ln, my base is e, and then I just loop it. E to the 0 equals x squared minus 1. And I know e to the 0 is 1. And then I go ahead and add 1 to both sides, and I get 2 equals x squared. And I go ahead and take the square root. Remember that when we take the square root, we always have to do plus or minus. But we have to be careful because then we go talk about our domain of our log graph. And we know that our domain our argument always has to be positive, right? Okay, so if that's the case, will both the square root of 2 and negative square root of 2 work? And you can see if I put negative square root of 2 minus 1 in here, that gives me a negative number, right? And you can't have ln of a negative number, and so therefore the negative does not work, and we are left with just the square root of 2. All right, let's try another one. If you've got this idea, go ahead and pause the video and see that you can do it on your own. All right, multiplication means I'm going to, or addition means I'm going to multiply. Make sure you FOIL. So I have x squared minus x minus 3x plus 3 equals 3. Combine my like terms. And then turn it exponential. So if I turn it exponential, I have 2 to the 3 equals x squared minus 4x plus 3. Arguments all one thing. 2 cubed is 8. And now we got to solve this. All right, and hopefully we're thinking, okay, how are we going to solve this? And we see this little guy here, which tells me this is a quadratic. So I know that when I'm solving quadratics, I've got a couple ideas. I can factor, or I can use a quadratic formula, but I know I have to have it equal to 0 on this side. All right, and then some of you may be factoring, some of you may be doing quadratic formula. It's completely up to you. Just make sure you can do it without a calculator. All right, so I need two numbers that multiply together to give me 5. Well, there's only two of them, 1 and 5, and they have to be -4, so the 5 has to be negative. The 1 has to be positive. Last thing we do is we set each one of these equal to 0. Some of you may remember that benchmark that we all had to pass in order to proceed with the factoring. And so then we subtract 1. One answer is x equals -1. Well, we don't know for sure. I'm going to leave it as x equals -1 and x equals +5. We go back and check. If I put -1 in here, -1 minus 1 is -2. And so this guy does not work. All right. But if I 5 minus 3 is good, 5 minus 1 is good. All right, so 5 works, -1 does not work. Please be careful to think it's not just because it's a negative number here. It means it's a negative argument here. Okay, so you have to check the argument, not your answer. All right, I'd like you to try this one on your own. All right, let's walk you through the process. You see the minus sign, should be division. You know your base is e, so you turn it exponential. Please remember, anything to the 0 is always 1. Now I'm going to cross multiply here. And so I have x plus 1 equals 3x minus 1, and then I add the 1, subtract the x, and I get 2 equals 2x. And so divide by 2, and I get x equals 1. Got to check to make sure that works. So if I put 3 times 1, yep, that'll work. 1 plus 1, that'll work. Our answer's good. Just better to get in the habit of checking to make sure your answers always give you good values in the domain. All right, last one here. Go ahead, give it a shot. Check your answer when you're done. All right, not gonna lie to you, this one's just ugly. So hopefully your first thing you did, because this is where a lot of people make mistakes, do the exponents first. Remember, exponents come first. So hopefully we didn't divide first. We put the 2 up, and so we have log base 10 of 2x plus 1 equals log of x minus 1 quantity squared equals 1. Then we turn it using our property because it's minus. We divide our arguments. And then we turn it exponential. So I have 10 to the first equals that whole argument there. Then I cross multiply. Then I FOIL x minus 1. Make sure you FOIL. You cannot distribute powers, right? We know that a plus b quantity squared is not a squared plus b squared. It's major. Right? Then we distribute the 10 through and put everything on one side. And now we have a quadratic which actually cannot easily be factored. So we go back to this quadratic formula. Some of you might be seeing Pop Goes the Weasel or other fun quadratic songs. Check out YouTube if you haven't seen any, because you know they're pretty funny, some of them. Of course, I am a math nerd, so I enjoy them. All right, then we acknowledge that our A is our first term, B is our second term, making sure to grab the negative, and C. And so when I plug it in here, I have negative 22 plus or minus. Parentheses are key. Do not forget your parentheses around b squared, okay? Because you got to make sure you square the negative. Now, some people just don't even put the negative in there because they know when you square a negative, it becomes positive. So either way you're doing that, I don't care. Just make sure this parentheses are here so that becomes a positive value once you square it. minus 4AC all over 2A. And then my two answers, when I plug them into my calculator, were 1.65 and 0.543. All right, if you can do that one, you're doing well. All right, and that is it. And tomorrow we will work some more in class. Have a great night.